Newsfirst, Newsline.
The darkest places in hell are reserved for those who maintain their neutrality at times of moral crisis. A very good evening and welcome to another edition of Newsline. Of course, coming to you as always live and direct. I beg your pardon. We're coming to you as a recorded show today from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. But there is a special reason why our show is recorded here today. But before we get into that, let's get to know our guest this evening, parliamentarian from the Samagi Janabalavegia, Hirunika Premachandra.
Ex-parliamentarian.
Ex-parliamentarian, I beg your pardon, from the Samagi Janabalavegia, Hirunika Premachandra. Very good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening, good evening.
Ms. Premachandra, why do you think, what's the reason really why this show is recorded? And you can't stay back until 8:30, the usual time that we air the show live.
Yeah, the reason is my husband is also out and I'm also out. My little kids are in home, locked in a room because there are some goons outside my house waiting for me to come, and they have invaded my place with weapons. That's what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
So that as soon as I finish this, I must go to my kids. So that's the reason that we had to record this. So, but in the face of all of these threatening messages coming to you from various factions, you still went, and all of this really began the day you went and staged a protest opposite the president's residence. Yes.
Did you achieve what you went there to achieve? Well,
yes, because you know, there's in this country there's a huge fear of Rajapaksas. People are scared of them. That's what they have maintained all throughout. So I think I've broke that barrier. I think that hurt their ego. That is the reason that aftermath. I mean, all these goons invading my place and attacking me, saying all this kind of stuff and attacking SJB party office. It's all started after I went there in front of his house and asked for answers, demanding for answers. So I think that's the reason.
Mrs. Premachandra, I saw you giving a letter to one of the coordinating secretaries, I believe, of the president. Are you hopeful that you'll get a response to that?
Not really, no. I'm sure. I don't think he would even read the letter. I don't think so. He doesn't care. He doesn't care anymore. Just like even from the beginning, he never cared. That I know for sure.
Mrs. Premachandra, there is a group of people who believe that neither the government nor the opposition is really doing their job right now, and that is one of the main reasons why Sri Lanka is sliding into an abyss, a very dark abyss at this rate. What do you have to say to those people?
So I'm representing the opposition. What I have to say is that as opposition we have done enough, and it's about time that it's on the hands of these people. I think the public should stand up and get out of your comfort zone. Just start going. Just go to whoever the organizer, whoever the ministers representing the government. Just go in front of his house, demand for answers, ask questions. It's your right. It's about time now, because I think after we went to that the president's house, president's residence, I think after that we have now you can understand that how easy it is, because they're not big people, they're not people who we can't reach. We went in front of the president's residence, so there's nothing that we can't do. So I think the people who wants to change, who wants to change the system, who wants answers from these politicians, who wants to change whatever happening in the country right now, should go in front of these houses and ask for answers, demand for answers. I think when that happened, because remember, these politicians are very scared of people.
They are scared of people?
They are very scared of people. That I've seen with my own eyes. When I went there in front of the president's residence, I've realized that how scared they were. I mean, because they know that people will never, ask question face to face, people would never do that. They know, because they know how people are. So
but people have changed now.
Yes, exactly. That's what. So if people go in front of these politicians, ask questions, just do it one time, just do it once. See how scared they are. They are very scared of people.
So moving forward, really, what is the Samagi Jana Balavegia's plan to at least get this country on track? Now we know for a fact, let's take a look at the facts. We know for a fact that there is no general election for about another 2 to 2.5 years at least, and it's extremely unlikely that this government, or any government in power for that matter, would resign before their term comes to an end.
Yeah.
So in terms of strategically getting our country out of this mess that we're in, how does the Samagi Jana Balavegia plan to contribute?
So we are not certain about Sri Lankan politics. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. I will give you an example. Can you remember those 52 days where Maithripala Sirisena, ex-president, he just, he felt like, I'm going to
sack the government.
So we don't know what's going to happen. If you ever thought that Vimal Veeravansha and Uday Gammampila and Vasudeva Nanakara, all these people would come out of the government and criticize government, and they're very powerful right now, but the government is very powerful right now, but these 11 people, they just came out. So what will happen tomorrow? Just imagine if 50-60 people, 40-50 people from the government cross over and sit down with the opposition. Anything can happen. So that's why I say it's about time that people come out, and if people start this fight, this war, I would call this war, then because they are scared of people. They see now Vimal Veeravansha and Uday Gammampila. Now they have taken a defensive position, and people can't attack them because they're in a defensive position. That's the reason they came out, is they know that they can't continue like this, and they know the pulse of people. They know if we let go like this, we are going to we'd have to pay for this. That's why they just they came out of the government.
So have they at least reached out to the Samagi Jana Balavegia or any party in the opposition for that matter?
I'm sure they have. I'm sure, for sure. I mean, I don't think that I'm sure there could be phone calls, conversations, I'm sure.
So, but wouldn't that really damage the reputation of at least, or the credibility of the Samagi Jana Balavegia or whichever opposition party that decides to accept them?
No, I'm not saying that we should accept them. Obviously not, no way. I'm saying is that they're also looking for options, right? They can't fight this alone. I don't think that we should accept it, obviously. But at this point, we should understand who are main enemies. Who's the main enemy? The main enemy is this government and the people who are after this government, people who created this government, and also the Rajapaksas. It's about time that we stand against them.
But when you say the enemy is the government, isn't the government representative of the people? Aren't these people the same people that Sri Lankans, a majority of Sri Lankans, voted into power? Now, one of the main allegations from the side of the government is the fact that the opposition, including the Samagi Jana Balavegia, the National People's Power Movement, are working to sabotage the plans of the government.
Don't you think, I mean, a friend, a companion, a government who has empathy towards the people, do you think that a government like that would do something like that to the country? No, they are enemy of people. They are enemies because there are 7 to 8 hours of power cut in the country. Just imagine the students who are facing exams this year. I mean, their 7 to 8 hours of their life,
and we're living in the digital age where everything is online.
And also there's a diesel, there's no diesel, there's no petrol. And I'll tell you a story. The reason why I just felt like going in front of President House, I'll tell you what the behind story, what the background story. Actually, I was in a meeting and I got a call from a person, I don't know what his name is, but he told me his names, but I can't remember. He said, the first question he asked was, Hirunika, aren't you going to rescue us? And then I said, so I don't understand. He said, listen, I voted for this government, but I must tell you, I'm in corporate world, which I think he's a middle class, maybe a upper middle class person. He said, I voted for this government. My baby is 4 months old. Now it's more than, now we had a power cut. It's more than 1 hour, and it was about 8 o'clock, and he wouldn't sleep. He's crying because he's sweating. He's crying. I can't calm him down. So what I did was I asked my wife to get into the vehicle with the baby, and I put the AC on, and now he's sleeping. Now I'm afraid. Now I had to wait for another 6 hours to the power to come. And then he said, my concern is now tomorrow I have to go to work, and the diesel will finish. So what I'm not a person who has I should not plead in front of anyone, because I have my own dignity. Why would I do this? But now I'm in a stage of pleading someone to rescue us. Do something. That's what really made me think, what can I do? So that's the reason. I should thank him, actually, whoever that person is, who, if he's watching, you're the reason that I thought myself, I thought to myself, I'm definitely going in front of this president's premises and do something about this. I don't have to do it, because there's no power cut for our area, because Mr. Sarath Weerasekara, Sita Aramepura, Vimal Veerasekara, they all live nearby. So because of that, we don't have any power cuts. But that's thinking that we don't have any kind of problems. We are just fine. It's their problem. We can't do that anymore. I mean, if we think it's not my problem anymore, there's no solution, or there's no way of getting out of these problems.
Well, of course, tomorrow is International Women's Day, and we know that there are many women who've led revolutions across the world. One of the best examples being Jacinta Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand. She has been ranked among the top leaders across the world, especially when the COVID-19 pandemic hit. But of course, in Sri Lanka, we know as a matter of fact that female representation is extremely low, be it parliament, be it local governments. Female representation in politics is extremely low. So on the role that women can play, especially because tomorrow is Women's Day, on the role that women can play in somehow getting this country out of this mess, what's your take on that?
First of all these party leaders should sit together and come to a decision where they give at least 25% of representative of for women, at least 25%. So if they do that, at least like few women can just contest in the parliament election, provincial or
but we did experiment with this at the local government elections, and I believe that there weren't enough members to really contest even, and I distinctly remember there were certain instances where this was just another promotion for nepotism, where local councillors, they put in their wives, their daughters, their relatives.
Yeah, that's also true, but that's the first time it's a test run. First, I mean, it was the first time. It was a different, it was a new system, and it was a new election and a new election system. So because of that, we can't really we also didn't know
how it really is going to turn out.
So I think the next time it will change for sure. And also not only in the urban councils, provincial and also parliamentary election, general elections, we should give 25 quota. That's what we asked from our leader, and he promised us to do that. And also people have this mentality in their mind that this is a men's job. Politics, men do that. Women should not get into these kind of dirty games, and these kind of arguments. Now, as you can see, I was subjected to many problems, like character assassination, mud strangling, whatever it is. So I don't think that women they are not willing to take that risk. That's one of the reasons that women are not in the political arena. Anyhow, I think that as a political party, as a person, our leader is a person who believes in gender equality. So I think as a party we are proud of the representatives, women representatives in our party actually.
Well, we'll cross over to a short commercial break and bring you more details. Stay tuned. You're watching Newsline.
Newsfirst, Newsline.
COVID-19 සඳහා ආරක්ෂිත පියවර නිතරම හොඳින් සබන් යොදා දෑත් සෝදන්න. සබන් හෝ විස බීජ නාශක මධ්‍යසාරයක් භාවිතා කර දෑත් පිරිසිදු කරන්න. සෑම විටම අන් අය සමග මීටරයක දුරස්ථභාවයක් පවත්වා ගන්න. හැකි සෑම විටම නිවසේ රැඳී සිටින්න. නිරතුරුවම නිවැරදිව මුඛාවරණ පළඳින්න.
Newsfirst, Newsline.
Hello there, welcome back. You're watching Newsline. Mrs. Hirunika Premachandra, yes. We were speaking about female representation and you said that it's your view and your belief that 25% quota needs to be allocated for women in Parliament as well.
Yes.
There's already an allocation in local governments. You said it should be extended to provincial councils and Parliament. But how far do you think this plan is really viable, artificially creating this instead of bringing it from the people themselves, you know, first educating women, bringing them to a higher position than what they are right now? Do you think that also should be looked into instead of just, you know, slapping a 25% quota mandatory?
That's true, definitely. Now we as a party, we are giving, now if we take this women's wing in Samagijana Balavegya, our leader has given us, you know, he has given us the whatever that we can take, whatever the decisions that we want, and he had given us that. I wouldn't say that it's not his right to give us. I mean, it's our right. It's not his. He should not give, but he should. It's not that he should allow or anything, but he's giving us support. That would be a nice word. Yeah, he's giving us support to do whatever we feel like doing, whatever we feel like organizing. He had, as a leader, it's brilliant to see. It's very refreshing to see what I mean, his ideas. So now you know, normally in these Women's Days, International Women's Day, what normal any party would do is that they will gather around women in a ground or somewhere and then
have men speak to them.
Exactly. That's what everyone's doing. Every party is doing. But I must say that we are very proud of our party and the leader. Last time when we started our women's wing last year. Last year for the Women's Day, what we did was there's a period poverty in this country. So we did a art competition among the students, girl students, and we selected really good arts, and we did a competition and we gave them, we recognized them, we gave them you know, some amount of money who are willing to you know, continue art. And it's on period poverty, and you know that our leader is the first politician to talk about this taboo subject in front of public.
I think he earned a nickname for that as well.
Padman, yes. I'm very glad that he spoke about it. You should, I mean, you should have courage to do this. It's not that easy. I mean, we as politicians, most of the politicians in the country are very diplomatic. They don't talk about this kind of stuff because they think these are very taboo subject. We should not talk about this in front of people. I mean, this is a very normal thing. You know, being a mother, being a woman, I mean, it's very normal. So he had guts to, he had a backbone to talk about this, and when he talked about these subjects, I can remember the people who were in the Pohottua people, the Podujana Peramuna people criticized him, even the women criticized him. Now, ironically, they have brought a proposal to their you know, I think last year, in their I think Mr. Basil Rajapaksa or Mahinda Rajapaksa brought that
in the budget,
proposal. I think in the budget, yes. So it's very ironic. And he had always advised us to do something that sustainable. So even this year what we are doing is we have selected a few girls' school and we are providing them internet connection, we are providing them computers and IT skills for the teachers. We have selected 7 schools like that, and all across the island. And I think that one of the, because in future the information technology is a must for anyone. So that it's also a men's club. So we can't go forward without technology. So this is one of the best decisions that we made as a women's group, and also as a leader also. It's a very good initiative. I think it's very good.
Mrs. Premachandra, now you were speaking about International Women's Day coming tomorrow. You all have organized a program and all that. You also spoke about the 25% quota. We probably might have an election coming in the near future. Is your party also looking at implementing these proposals that you're speking of by allowing more?
I mean, these proposals were out back in 2019 or 18 when Sajith Premadasa contested for the presidential election. He's the only leader who come forward with the women's proposals. Like we had a
separate series of proposals
for women. So all these ideas were in that proposals. So I think we are the only opposition. We are without any power, any government or nothing. We are the only opposition. If you look at throughout the years, like from the, if you take early on also, no opposition, opposition never ever contributed like this, contributed these kind of programs for these kind of programs. So we never had a
proactive role.
Yes, proactive roles for like that. So we are very proud of our leader and also the opposition. Actually.
Mrs. Premachandra, we're in the final few minutes of this show. I'm going to put you on the spot for 1 second.
Yeah.
Now, it is no secret that people are unhappy with the way that things in the country are going. And naturally, when people are unhappy with the way that things in the country are going, they would blame the people who are responsible, people who are in power, in the government. And then people start looking at alternatives. Right now, the people are looking at alternatives. Although there is no election around the corner, people are voicing their concerns and looking at alternatives. Alongside the Samagya Jana Balawegaya is also the National People's Power Movement. And there are those who believe that the National People's Power Movement has never had power in this country. So it's only right that they be given an opportunity to govern this country because their hard stance against corruption, because of certain practical plans that they have put forward. How would you speak to these people?
I'm not going to be diplomatic on this question because somebody has to address this about this new revolution that happening in this country.
This new movement.
This movement, yes. So I'm just going to tell you one thing. You take Vimal Veerawansha. He started working in JVP from age of 18. Okay, and you know that JVP they brainwash in a different. I would say brainwash in a different way. They have their own views. They have ideologies. Yes. So I'm sure Vimal Veerawansha also had that kind of ideology. But when he has the power, when we came to power, he's a different person. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to tell anything
You're not going
further.
to sling any more mud at them.
Yeah, it's not mud. But people selected Gotabaya Rajapaksa because he was not in politics. People thought that, you know, because he was not in politics, he's a different person, he could do better. So always remember, a person, if a person is in a political party, they know how they operate, how to be in a system, how to work in a system, you know. So always remember, just now we talk about, if we talk about Sajith Premadasa and Gotabaya Rajapaksa, we went on and on about the cases, the problems, the allegations, you know, everything. It was all true, right? It was all true, but still people thought, you know, it's okay, you know, you see a person,
try something new.
Yeah, you see two people who one has all the allegations and like tons of cases, tons of problems, tons of cases in the tons of court cases, and there's another person who has nothing. The only allegations was the way he speaks, the stuff he says,
the tone of his voice. But still people went with this guy. That's what I say, like, we should change our attitudes or mentality towards the politicians. Now I'll tell you this last thing. Now if you take Gotabaya Rajapaksa, Basil Rajapaksa, they're very scared of people. I'll tell you why. If you're a leader, you had to have that you know, stability to take anything in, like whatever it is, criticism or a good thing or whatever it is. But these people can't take it. That means he's a very fragile leader. He can't. He's very fragile. He's very naive. He's very, you know, he doesn't know how to react to this kind of criticism. That's something that everybody should understand. That if you're a leader, sometimes you have to be strict. Sometimes you have to be very mellow. All these kind of characteristics should be there in a leader. So all I'm saying is, you know, don't think that don't go with the flow, and don't think that just because these people have never done a ministry, they were never in power in a government, so they can do something different in a country. No. Thank you very much, Mrs. Premachandra. Unfortunately, we run out of time, of course. You've shown courage, and especially on International Women's Day that's coming today. That's not the only day that women should show courage. Women should show courage throughout, men and women. Citizens of Sri Lanka should show courage, especially during these times of crisis, not only in stepping up and questioning politicians or causing a stir in the country, but of course trying to figure out how we can all get through these troubled times in one piece. Thank you very much, Mrs. Premachandra, for joining us on our show and being brave. I hope that you can get back home safe and take care of your children and your family. Wish you the best of luck, and also thank you very much to all our viewers out there for tuning in to Newsline. Until we meet again, take care and God bless.